Hey everybody, this is Corey Pieper. I want to do a real quick basics of RSync on the new IDG server tutorial. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first is taking a look at the documentation. So I've got some links to it on our main Southern Region Transition to NIDS CMS Google site. Just scroll down to the bottom and it's this link right here, Options for Configuring RSync. So if you go there, one of the very first things you see at the top is a big table that helps you line up prefixes, or as they're known now, modules for RSync, pretty much the same thing, and extensions that are supported by each one of those modules, and then some information regarding what kind of validation or conversion is performed on the IDG server. So once things are RSync to their server, there's actually some validation done on their end to make sure that what you're trying to sync to a given prefix or module is something that belongs there. And then finally, there's a column that is the URL destination that tells you where on what URL you can go to actually look at the image in a web browser. So the images module here, for example, you'd go to weather.gov/images/site ID, 3-letter site ID, / the path to the file itself. Now, not all of these modules are viewable in a browser, just like we have right now. For example, apps data files aren't viewable in a browser on our current CMS, and that'll be the case in the future as well. So the example of that being CMS data, which is not publicly available, and that contains things like XML files, text files, and HTML files that are used for inclusion in CMS pages themselves. Excuse me. So let me talk a little bit about how the RSync works, the basics of it, and then I'll talk about a few different options for doing so. So first, you can RSync any file, one file at a time, just using command line, but there's a very specific file naming convention that's used to make sure an image or file, any type of file, makes it to the correct module on the IDG server. So, for example, if you're wanting to RSync a file called file.ping to the IDG server, you would actually need to name it in a way that helps specify the prefix or the module that it's going to go into. And the naming convention goes like this. So ping files are supported in the images module, and the images module is called CMS underscore, as you might guess, images, and then a plus sign, and file.ping. So this is the file name that you would actually have, and RSync this file name up to the server. So for example, I've been doing a lot of work and getting some other pages working. So if I have a file named file.ping, I simply do a copy file.ping to CMS underscore images plus file.ping. So again, this is the file name, and when you try to RSync it to NIDS, it attempts to put it in the images module, and it retains this name. You can also, in the name of a file you're trying to RSync up, specify a folder in which it would go on the IDG server. And that's done in the file name as well. So for example, if we wanted to put this file.ping in a folder called weather, you simply add that to the file name. So here again we have the module name or prefix, a plus sign, and then next would be the folder name, and we're going to put it in a folder called WX, and then the original file name itself. So in this particular example, once the RSync is completed, it would end up in the path weather.gov/images/ and we're going to use SRH as the site ID for this example because that's where I am, and then weather/file.ping. Let me shrink that up to get it all on the same line. So there you go. That's where that file would go. And similarly, this file here would go to weather.gov/images/srh/file.ping. So that covers the file naming convention. So the RSyncing itself are some commands that a lot of you are probably familiar with if you've done RSync via command line. Some of you may not be. So let me get rid of this stuff here, scroll that down a little bit. So to actually rsync up something with that file name, you would do something like this. And this is just to rsync one file at a time. Rsync minus VZRT. And then for that particular image down here, we'll just use this as an example. CMS underscore images plus file dot ping. And that's going to go to sync.nids.noaa.gov, pair of colons, and nids underscore incoming. And this is the part that would be different depending on what office you're in. Next would come the 3-letter ID for your office. So again, in my case, it's SRH. If you're in Midland, it'd be MAF, etc. So that would be the entire rsync command to get that particular file up to the IDG server. And once it's there, again, the path would be weather.gov/images/srh/file.ping. So similarly, of course this is just with images, similarly with other files, if you should rsync it up to media and specify a folder, the address would be weather.gov/media/site ID and then the path to the file. And again, CMS data is not viewable in a browser. And then public data is another spot where things like publicly available XML, RSS, KML, KMZ, JSON, things like that that are used for JavaScript scripting, they would be under weather.gov/source. So the name is different here, which is a little bit confusing. Here it says public data. The actual path is source/site ID/the path to the file. So those are the basics. I'll stop right there, and then I'll do another short tutorial on the 3 options that we're offering to do rsync. Thank you.